Hello and welcome to On Point. I'm Akhilesh Sharma. Today we have 3 on points lined up for you. In On Point 1, we discuss opinion poll on Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Punjab. BJP leads in UP and Uttarakhand and AAP in Punjab. In On Point 2, China deploys hypersonic missiles making US Pacific bases vulnerable. We decode the impact of the weapon systems. In On Point 3, we decode as to why Gurugram sinks every monsoon. The political mood across Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Punjab presents 3 very different pictures. And the backdrop is also the Gen Z protest that has taken place. So this opinion poll, which has been conducted by the Vote 5, is very, very important. It's a big poll. A lot of data in it, but I have, if I may use the word, reduced it, or if I may use the word, if I had crunched the data in a way that it brings it down to 5 or 6 basic things. And when I say 5 or 6 basic things, it's about the vote intention, the chief minister, basic issue, and the age divide. The result of this statewide also tells us how complex the voting patterns are. Now let me begin with Uttar Pradesh, where the BJP continues to lead the way. The survey shows 41.8% of voters satisfied with Yogi Adityanath government. Yogi Adityanath remains the preferred choice for Chief Minister, while Akhilesh Yadav is supported by 35.5% of voters. But there is an important generational divide. Voters between 18 and 34 years show deep dissatisfaction with the state government. In fact, 50.1% are not satisfied with the government within that age bracket. The picture changes among voters aged 45 and above. Older voters are much more satisfied with the Yogi government, and law and order emerging as a particularly important issue for this generation. The social group picture also favors the BJP. SC voters and upper caste Hindu groups lean towards the BJP. The contested ground is the OBC. And when it comes to vote intention, the BJP stands at 41.8%, ahead of SP at 38.7%, which to me seems that the gap between SP and BJP has closed a little despite massive Hindutva consolidation for Yogi Adityanath. So UP may be giving BJP an overall advantage, but the youth vote remains a clear area of concern. Now let me move north to Uttarakhand. Here too BJP leads the voting intention at 40.9%, compared with 36.7% for the Congress. 39.1% of people are completely satisfied, but there is also a significant concern about political representation. 48% are not satisfied with their MLAs, very, very important. And once again, the biggest issue is unemployment. Despite that concern, Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami leads the CM preference with 28.2%. So Uttarakhand presents an interesting combination. BJP ahead in vote intention, but unemployment and dissatisfaction with MLAs remain challenging. So the question is whether Dhami and Modi will be able to override local dissatisfaction. There is more to it in this, but I found this point very, very interesting. And now I come to Punjab, where the political equation looks different. 40% of the people are satisfied with the government there. Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann has a clear lead with 40.1%, while 34% indicate an intention to vote for AAP, compared with 30% for the Congress. But Punjab has its own major concerns, and I am not getting into the fact that BJP and Shiromani Akali Dal are not fighting elections together. Drugs are an issue for 25.7% of the respondents, while party ideology matters to 30%. And importantly, 36.7% believe AAP will win. So across these 3 states, we are seeing 3 different political stories. The big question is, will these current voter mood hold? On this issue, I am joined by Amitabh Tiwari, who has authored, mentored and done this entire poll, Sunita Aaron, senior journalist, and Dr. Verma, political analyst, psephologist, academician, and a mentor. Thank you all of you. Let me straight away go to Amitabh first, who has authored this report. Amitabh, I will go state by state. So I'll start with that very important point. You can bring the point you think is important. I found that the generational divide very, very important. What do you have to say that, that the older people find law and order to be very, very important, and people above 50 in your data in Uttar Pradesh say that they are very much satisfied with the Yogi government, very strongly backing them. But 18 to 35, 51.1%, they are dissatisfied. How do you see that, sir?
Well, essentially, it links with the overall issues. So if you see, unemployment is the number one issue, and that largely impacts the youth, which is 18 to 29 age category. And in the overhang of the CJP protests and the concerns of the youth now coming out openly on the forum across the nation, across states, now we see that due to unemployment as the biggest issue, the 18 to 29 category is dissatisfied with the government. And in UP also there have been, we've seen paper leaks, etc. in Uttar Pradesh also. But as we move up the ladder, so as we move up the mid-age and the senior citizens in these categories, clearly the issues or the focus shifts to law and order and other issues. And here the BJP and Yogi Adityanath as chief minister lead against Samajwadi Party. Now the Gen Z is 22 to 23% of population 18 to 29, and the other group, which is the non-Gen Z group, is a bigger group, correct? And unless we see a mobilization like Tamil Nadu, where almost 65 to 70% of the Gen Z voted for TVK,
Yes.
that's why we see that despite the support of, let's say, Gen Z, because that's the term in fashion now, we see Samajwadi Party trailing a bit, is because the level of consolidation is not high, and the non-Gen Z group is firmly behind the BJP in this case.
Okay. Dr. Verma, when I attended the book function, and I read the chapter in the UP, the book that has been produced. Am I audible to you, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. 2024, the opposition ran a very successful campaign that reservation will end. And even the vote share percentage of the Prime Minister lead came down in Banaras. Samajwadi Party did very well. But here is a very important thing which Amitabh has brought to fore. And that is about that in the scheduled caste, the group leans towards BJP alliance 40% over the SP alliance 34.1%. Notable 20.1% still votes for BSP. So SC is still voting for BJP, and the entire thrust of the non-BJP parties in UP has been on this extremely backward caste and caste taxes. So are we saying that the SCs and Dalits are still with this so-called subaltern Hindutva rubric?
First of all, let me congratulate Mr. Amitabh Tiwari for doing this survey and giving us very important data at this point of time. Elections are at least a few months away, and this is one way to gauge the mood right now. So we'll be talking strictly in terms of the current and not what's going to happen later on, because there could be sea changes, because of our experiences have told that people, their mood swings during the campaign, and campaign can swings, narratives can change their voting behavior. So that's not the issue right now. I'll particularly focus on the question that you have raised. One thing is very important, that 2024 election was a narrative-driven election in Uttar Pradesh at least. It wasn't a national narrative, because you can see state after state, state after Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, and so many states, there were complete sweep by the BJP. So Delhi, of course, and so many other states, there was a complete sweep by the BJP. So what happened in Uttar Pradesh was a very pinpointed Congress SP-driven narrative, which was, to me, a narrative which they could sell very well to the audience for which the narrative was actually constructed. The optics was that reservation will be abolished and constitution will be demolished. So this narrative was a very important player swaying the scheduled caste. And one very important point was that the OBCs and the Dalits, they had no option because the polarization of the electoral forces in 2024, you see, either they vote BJP or they vote the SPA in Congress alliance. There wasn't any third force. Mayawati wasn't there. This time, Kartike, a very interesting scenario is developing in Uttar Pradesh, which may probably not have been captured right now because of the Gen Z background and because of the Cockroach Party and this and that. So that mood is slightly different right now, and that mood has clearly indicated that some of the panic and some of the misconceptions of 2024, they have been diluted right now, because as you yourself say, some of the Dalits, they seem to have moved to the BJP right now. So at this moment, I can say only two things.
Okay.
One is that because of this particular phase and Gen Z background is at this point of time, there is slightly a different mindset, a different psychology of the young voters, especially as you yourself said that the elders are thinking differently and the youngers are thinking differently. That is one thing. But the main thing that we have to focus on is that how long this narrative is going to carry on. That is one. And whether the Gen Z is foolish enough to understand that removing a minister or getting away with a particular kind of a government will bring any systemic change in our political in this entire country setup. Because you see, my contention is that the problem of the Gen Z or the problem of our young people are they are not so much interested in the regime change, they are interested in the system change. And I think that for the last 75 years, regimes have been changing, but the system hasn't been changing. So whichever government comes to the power, the plight of the youth, the plight of the Gen Z remains as such. And now it has exploded like anything, and nothing can be said right now. But of course, there are efforts on both the parts, this part and that part. Parties are trying to rope in and have a dialogue with the youth, and that's a good development. They should be roped in, they should be accommodated in the decision-making process. So right now, I would only say that this Amitabhji's survey has captured the mood right now, and still there is a generational divide, which is very much reflected in this survey.
Okay. Sunita ji, there is also another thing, you can touch upon that, there's a great debate that has started, pro-reservation and anti-reservation. And let me tell you that it is attracting a lot of attention, because there are some people who are saying, part of a particular ecosystem, that there should be no reservation. And that is creating a pull and push pressure, which perhaps the Congress felt in 1988, 87, Shilanyas and Shah Bano. That pressure is operating within the BJP's ecosystem. Coming back to that, even in this survey which Amitabh has done, there is a lot of local dissatisfaction with MLAs. I forgot, I should have mentioned it. Amitabh's survey says 49% are dissatisfied with MLAs. So will this be enough for Yogi madam?
Kartike, one, I think Amitabh's survey is bang on. It is as per the perception, the public perception right now. And there are certain important things which are, I think, with respect to UP can say, that it's a straight contest, it's a close contest, and the indecisive voter, the fence sitters, are enough to change the tilt the balance. That comes out very clearly. Referring, now you are talking about youth. Now when we talk about youth or we talk about Gen Z, now UGC divided them. Then the issue of education reforms and unemployment united them. They decided to come across caste and communal lines. They decided to come together. Now this another narrative has started about reservation and quota. Now this is a very important issue for Dalits and for OBCs. I think the only point where I'm skeptic about is the tilt of Dalits towards the BJP. Now, Dalits have been divided and Jatavs have remained with Mayawati, irrespective of whatever mood she is in. A high chunk of, say, 8 to 9% of Jatavs have supported her. But the parties have always divided. And right now, also, the constitution and the quota is an issue. That's the message that I get from the ground when I talk to some leaders and others, that then for them, the issue is quota and they have data. The data which Akhilesh Yadav under his PTA campaign has been highlighting, the positions that are left vacant, the quotas that are not been filled. So the youth that in a way united, when we say united, it's largely united in favor of BJP is today divided. Which way it will go eventually we'll get to know. But one thing which has come out, that government ignored the education and the employment sectors, and their attention has been brought back to them, and youth will decide the elections, and these two issues will be as important perhaps as Sanatan, as your caste, community, as because when you say that people above the age of 50 years, maybe they're more religious, maybe they are more impressed by the temple construction that has been done, maybe they are more impressed by the Sanatan, but the youth is right now is not talking about that.
Okay.
They're talking about their jobs.
I think that was the most important takeaway of Amitabh's work, that division that he showed us in Uttar Pradesh. But Amitabh, there is one more thing, when I was comparing, you have used the word vote intention. Vote intention of Uttar Pradesh with Uttarakhand, I realize that in Uttarakhand you say that the voting intention, the BJP alliance is 41.8, in UP it is 41.8%, which is for BJP, and SP alliance is 38.7%. So the margin is close, Amitabh. But when I compare that vote intention with Uttarakhand, it really caught my eye. It is higher in Uttarakhand, where your data say that BJP leads vote intention at 40.9% versus Congress at 36.7%. So the gap between SP and BJP in UP is closer, and gap in Uttarakhand is higher. How has that happened, that Uttarakhand has retained that edge, whereas UP it is closed?
I mean, in Uttarakhand also the gap, if you compare to 2022, has reduced. But what is very clear or very stark in these three states is the fact that now UP is clearly a bipolar contest. Samajwadi, the Bhagwant Samaj Party, even in assembly polls, this time is likely to fall in single digits, which it has already fallen in the Lok Sabha election. In Uttarakhand, what is happening is that the Congress is not as strong opposition as the Samajwadi Party Congress alliance in UP. Number one. Number two, there the Uttarakhand Kranti Dal is actually bagging some of the discontent of the Gen Z voters, because it has some leaders who are very active especially in the Garhwal region, who belong to this age group. And in Punjab, the stark difference is that in Punjab, it's a five-cornered contest. So the Aam Aadmi Party is actually benefiting from a significant split.
Oh, absolutely. In Punjab, you say, just let me add to it because you gave the data. AAP is 36.7%, Congress 26.8%, BJP 13.6%, and Shiromani Akali Dal at 9.6%. So it just brings me to this question on Punjab. Why didn't they go in for alliance when they knew that together they would still have some chance? Without each other, there is no chance.
No, I mean, clearly, still it is not confirmed whether the alliance is likely to happen or not. But I think you mentioned the numbers of the perception, which is who is the winner perception. In terms of vote share, it is 34 for AAP and 30 for Congress. But still, you have Congress, BJP, Akali Dal and Akali Dal Waris Punjab there. 4 opposition parties splitting the anti-incumbency vote, which is benefiting the Aam Aadmi Party. Now, the question for BJP is, which is just debating, is whether the Shiromani Akali Dal actually holds the Panthik voters and a section of the Jat Sikh voters, or has it moved to Akali Dal Waris Punjab Day? That's one question. And the second question is that in terms of alliance, while the Hindu votes could transfer to the Sikh candidates of the Shiromani Akali Dal, the reverse may not hold true, because of the legacy of Farm Bill laws, and also that Akali Dal actually does not hold enough hold over the Sikh voters. So I think that is the question, which is the arithmetic is there, but whether the chemistry is still there in the alliance or not, is something which is debated.
Dr. Verma, you know, this Punjab data is very interesting. And the reason why I find this Punjab data interesting is, in terms of CM preference, sir, despite all the mazak and makhol that has been made of Bhagwant Mann, Amitabh data says 41.1% for CM preference. Now, let me come to the second part. Charanjit Singh Channi Congress, 20.6, sir. Raja Waring, Sukhwinder Singh Randhawa, away behind. Sukhbir Badal, 11.7%. BJP's faces like Keval Dhillon, Raga Chadda, Sunil Jakar, 6 to 7%. I need your understanding. What is making this guy take, who has been center of so much of controversy?
Well, I think whatever the controversy, the issue is that people are saying that there is a clear leader so far as the AAP is concerned. Whereas the other parties, they are so much having in fighting that they are not able to project whether they would be forming a stable government or not. And there are two very important issues facing the Punjab, which we all know very well. One is that it is a border state and a very sensitive state, bordering Punjab, Pakistan. So that's one very important aspect. And the second thing, which may probably, if BJP and this Akali Dal come together, they may gain some traction on that count. But the very fact that the menace of drugs has so much overtaken Punjab, and whatever people may say, some efforts are being made to handle that issue effectively. So I think at the grassroots level, the people are usually realizing that this menace is being handled a little bit more effectively, because otherwise Punjab was actually a state where the drugs seemed so freely and easily available across, and now the drones menace has already come. So drugs are being transported from drone and they are being scattered all over, and the youth are being captured. So drug is a very important problem, and any party which will not focus on the particular problem of drugs will actually be a great loser, because the people are absolutely against this, tendency of the youth being inducted into a drug. Because if border state is paralyzed, if the youth of Punjab, they become drug addict, then it becomes a very convenient and soft target for Pakistan. So I think whatever, with all its drawbacks and mark holes, as you said, of the AAP government in Punjab, the people still hold some kind of optimism that this gentleman can handle this problem a little bit more effectively.
Sunita ji, the data also tells us another very important thing, because Punjab has a large SC population. Large or largest, Amitabh?
Largest.
Largest.
Yeah,
okay, largest. So in his government and MLA performance, the state-wide data says SC voters show the highest level of satisfaction, followed by Muslims. Upper caste Hindus and Jat Sikhs show the highest levels of dissatisfaction with the government. Sunita.
Question you had asked me earlier, which I didn't answer, I would like to answer that. Okay. That is about the MLAs, sitting MLAs, and generally the parties do make some changes. They drop some sitting MLAs, or they change their constituencies, because some of them or most of them today they win their elections because of the leader. They sail through the this turbulence because of Modi, Yogi, or because of whosoever. So one thing is that definitely, because I don't think so. There is when we come to Punjab, I think it's the biggest surprise. The survey comes as a biggest surprise, because everybody thought that Man was down and out, but and everybody was thinking that Raghav Chadda is the next chief minister, whatever maybe BJP may do. But it has come as a surprise with Man not doing so badly. Now SC, I think it's basically their options are very limited. Their options are limited, and they're going with the government there, because in other states like Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh, there are parties who share the vote. But here it's different. Now, another important thing besides Punjab, I like to talk about Uttarakhand. That is, the people are liking the party more than the leader. If you look at it, BJP gets a higher percentage, much higher than Congress, whereas the chief minister candidate, his percentage of vote and Harish Rawat, there is a gap of 5% or 6%. So there is a very interesting data that there are clearly says that the people vote for the party sometimes and they do not bother about the leadership. And otherwise, of course, caste remains you can say the integral part of the elections or the main ingredient in every state that we are talking about.
No, absolutely. That is why in my introduction I said that this tells us that the voting pattern in India remains complex. So Gen Z space must be respected, but Gen Z generalization should be avoided in analysis. That is what I meant in my introduction. Gen Z's intervention in politics must be represented, but Gen Z generalization in analysis should be avoided because it kills the detail. So coming back to you, Amitabh, this SC higher level of satisfaction SC voters in Punjab, what does it tell us?
Two things is there. One is that, of course, the SCs and the lower OBCs are the largest chunk of beneficiaries in any state. Secondly, there is no clarity from the Congress with respect to the SC leadership, which is Channi not being made either the state president
Yes.
or being conferred as the CM face of the Congress-led alliance. So these two things, I think, are helping the Aam Aadmi Party retain the SC vote. And in SCs, we always talk about SCs and we generalize that a large number of SCs are from Sikhs, but there are Hindu SCs also there. So out of 32%, almost 11 to 12% come from the Hindu community and 20% from the Sikh community. And the SC vote also is fairly complicated there actually. The Ravi Dasya, Ram Dasya, Mazhabi. I mean, if you go into details, it is
But
fairly.
Amitabh, you also point out a very interesting thing. You say, interestingly, BJP's own 2024 voters show weak confidence in their party's prospect. Only 46.5% think BJP will win versus 50.4% who vote for it. While SAD voters also show a similar erosion, 45% versus 51.5%. That's pretty interesting.
No, essentially, I mean, that's when we ask, voting intention is different from perception. Many voters who are voting for BJP know that BJP on a standalone basis cannot win this. Correct. So that's why there is a difference between perception and the actual intent or the voting intention. And here some of the BJP voters feel that BJP standing or contesting separately is not going to win. So that's why perhaps they are naming either Aam Aadmi Party or Congress as the winner, because that's a perception question as to who is leading in the race.
Okay. Dr. Verma, before I start closing in my discussion, Uttar Pradesh, like Bihar, is also a multi-regional sort of a setup. You have Rohilkhand, you have Bundelkhand, you have Awadh, you have Paschim Uttar Pradesh, you have Eastern Uttar Pradesh, Purab. Do you think that in elections, these regional issues can be like in like a cake theory, like Bibinka, can be a layer on the Gen Z issue, can add a different dimension to the state elections?
No, as you yourself said that Gen Z has to be, factored into political analysis, though it may not dominate the outcome. But still, you see the unemployment issue and this unemployment issue has been in each and every election since the beginning. So
like roti kapda or makan.
Every time you have an election, the price rise, the unemployment, the youth unrest, the cattle issues, they are writ large, and it appears that they will actually impact the voting behavior. But when you actually go to press your button on the EVM, all those things goes back to your mind, and some emotional issues or emotive issues which have been created to the campaign narrative, they come to the fore. So at the moment, I am not very much willing to give any very substantial weightage to the mood at the moment. But since this survey has focused only on the present mood, therefore I must say that yes, at this point of time, the Gen Z is an issue. And because of this euphoria, many people and perceptions and optics, they are differently structured at the moment. How they will shape up in future and how more substantive issues will come to the fore. But certainly, the people, they seem to be worried about the entire thing, that political parties, whether this party or that party, the coming of a regime is not handling the problem of either the people or the youth or unemployed. They are trying to make cosmetic changes, but systemic changes they are not able to do. And that is the core of the issue of whether it is a Gen Z or non-Gen Z. Everybody is worried about this, that even today, that corruption, now it has become, you see, we have become conditioned to this, that corruption is there, nepotism is there,
Okay.
casteism is there. We have become conditioned to this, and this must change.
Okay, I'll take closing comment from Sunita, but there's a very important line I must read for my viewers. Amitabh in his survey says, perception who is winning. This is question 8, this is Uttar Pradesh, Sunita. You must, a minute on this, and then I'll close. Despite the BJP's alliance slight lead in voting preferences, voters are completely split on who they actually think will win the 2027 election, with 41.2% predicting the SP alliance and 41.1% predicting the BJP alliance. Sunita.
That's something very interesting. But, what has happened is that the Gen Z thing has really rattled all the political parties. And the chief minister is in a mood to consolidate his position. He's building a narrative. Today, he announced 1 lakh jobs, and he said the letters will be distributed within 6 months. Now, 1 lakh job letters being distributed, government jobs, let's see if it happens or not, because on the other side, the opposition is very alert. They're going to play into it. They're going to look into quota and everything.
You know, proof of the pudding is in eating it. I will not name the author, but a year ago, there was a book, Hindutva in Gen Z. I met the author. I have spoken to him. So the guy wrote the book. But ultimately it depends how you take it. It didn't create that effect. I don't think people even read that book. It was written much before this entire agitation broke out. And the name of the book is Hindutva in Gen Z. So what I mean to say is that
one thing more, Kartike, you can see why they're liking Akhilesh Yadav is because the way the party participated and supported them, and they have a battery of young leaders.
But I think he also needs to create, ma'am, a softer face, He needs to create a softer face.
Yes,
Why did people vote for Bahenji?
And Sanatan is not something which is appealing everybody.
But I think today I just need to congratulate Amitabh. We met at Dr. Saab's book function, and I was asking him ki kuch hona chahiye, and finally he came out with this, and I'm really very happy to actually do this. And I think I'll break it into a couple of more parts, more text copies on this, and more discussions when I really get into the details. So thank you all of you for joining me on this wonderful state-wide survey which Amitabh has done. And to my other viewers, don't go away. I will be doing a short decode with 2 eminent panelists on China deploying hypersonic missiles.
लास्ट टाइम कश्मीर गई थी ना, वहाँ खाया शहद, पर उसके लिए कश्मीर जाना पड़ेगा। अरे कश्मीर क्यों जाना, कश्मीर ही यहाँ आ गया।
सुंदर वादियों में महकती खुशबू और रंग बिरंगे फूल, इनमें से शहद निकाल कर जमा किया जाता है असली शहद, लायन कश्मीर हनी।
असली शहद, असली स्वाद।
China may have developed a new generation of missile technology capable of targeting high-value aircraft thousands of miles away. According to sources, the Chinese military has developed hypersonic glide vehicles that can launch air-to-air weapons. The aim is to threaten aircraft that normally operate far from the battlefield, including aerial tankers, airborne warning and control aircraft, and flying command posts, and that could change the calculation for any future conflict between China and US. The development is part of a broader Chinese effort to make its missile arsenal capable of performing multiple military roles. China has already the world's largest ballistic missile arsenal, estimated at more than 3,150 ballistic missiles, along around 300 ground-launched cruise missiles. The new development reportedly goes even further. China has added air-to-air capabilities to some hypersonic cruise missiles and anti-ship capabilities to several missile types. At the heart of the development are hypersonic glide vehicle or HGVs. unlike a conventional ballistic warhead that follows a predictable trajectory, an HGV can maneuver through atmosphere on its way to the target. That makes it harder to